Hi everyone, my name is Davison. I want to introduce us. This is actually a description of the vehicle I want to introduce us to. The vehicle behind me is a 2022 Dodge Challenger 2022, and in the next few minutes we are going to be discussing this vehicle, and then we will be highlighting pros and cons, the pros and cons of buying and selling this vehicle. So just I will be very glad if you can just pay attention. So I'm going to go to the car right now, and then I will drive it, and then according to two websites I have done the reviews on, we'll be looking at some of these features. Thank you. Like I said, this is a 2022 Dodge Challenger. We'll be looking at the highlights from two research websites. I was able to go look up this vehicle to come up with essential info, essential facts that will enable us, or will enable you to make a decision, buying decision, selling decision. And those two websites, one of them is I think it's cars.com. The website is caranddriver.com. It's a website, so if you want to look it up, go to the internet and type www.caranddriver.com. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this vehicle from car.com until I'm going to do a reversal. I'm going to make a U-turn, and then you view the back side of the vehicle, and then maybe the sides, the two sides, and then we look at the external features of this vehicle. But let me start by giving us an overview, just a recap, like a generalization of what essential features of this vehicle. According to that website, caranddriver.com, the manufacturer seller retail price, they said this vehicle's price starting at $32,140. That's this vehicle right here. It's not a used vehicle. It's not used. It's brand new. The mileage is still very low. I think it is 16. From 0 to 16,000. It was up at that 0 to 16,000 miles range. So it was brand new. The price starts at $32,140. So other websites will give you different starting prices. The other website I'm looking at is JD Power, jdpower.com. JD Power is also a rating website. It rates websites and also gives you reviews. I think one other website I was looking at, cars.com. When you go to cars.com, you'll be able to see the price of this vehicle. But more or less, this vehicle sells within that price range, $32,000, $32,100. You might even get a vehicle of maybe $30,000. But this vehicle is last year's edition. I have not really dug deep into whether there's a 2023, but there have been a question about, will this be the last edition? I once owned a 2012 Chrysler Town & Country. It's a Chrysler vehicle. So after the 2012 edition of Chrysler Town & Country, Chrysler they discontinued that vehicle. There's no more Chrysler after 2012. There's no 2013. There's no 2014. Wait a minute. There's a 2013. I think Chrysler stopped at, I don't know whether it's 2017 or thereabout. Somewhere. I don't have all the info, but Chrysler vehicle has been discontinued. Just summarize it as much. And in its place, there are other vehicles. There's a Tesla Pacifica. So this one you are looking at, 2022, might be the last edition of this Challenger. The vehicle is called a Challenger, Dodge Challenger. So look at an overview of what I'm going to tell us. I'll be back in the next 1 minute, and then we'll be looking at the back of the vehicle while I give you the overview. All right? Yes, quickly we are going to look at the features of this vehicle. Like I told us, this is the 2022 Dodge Challenger. I told us that we are going to be looking at two websites. I went to two websites to take a look at this vehicle. Guess what I found? One of the websites is caranddriver.com. If you have time, you can go to caranddriver.com and then take a look at what that website is telling you about this vehicle. This vehicle is called a 2022 Dodge Challenger. It's an interesting vehicle. In fact, it is, according to what I was reading, let me just summarize. The vehicle said the 2022 Dodge, the one you are looking at right there, is a blast from that past. Not only because its whole vibe is inherently old school, it is old school, but some models are seriously entertaining. In other words, it has some other models. This is one model. There are other models of this vehicle that are quite interesting, and that is what that website is trying to highlight. It says that the least expensive way to join the Challengers Brotherhood, in other words, if you want to buy this vehicle and become a car owner, is through the entry-level V6 model. There's a model called V6. The only two-model muscle car. Now, that's it. The word is muscle car. These vehicles are called muscle cars. What do you mean by muscle car? You can just look at that vehicle and you see that it looks like it has muscles. Just like you have your biceps and triceps and all kinds of muscles that a human being can have. This vehicle has its own muscles. So that's why they call it a muscle car. It's a muscle car to offer all-wheel drive. In other words, it's an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive vehicle. Get behind the wheel of any RT model. There is another model called the RT model to experience the sound and fury of a Hemi V8. Hemi V8 means it's another type of engine. Either a 375 horsepower 5.7 liter or a 485 horsepower 6.4 liter. Now, these numbers are telling you the gas tank, the volume of the gas tank. It says the horsepower, the power, the traction power. If this vehicle were to pull a load, this vehicle can pull a load or pull something that's up to 375 horsepower. That's the Hemi V8 model. Or and then with a 5.7 liter gas tank, then or a 485 horsepower 6.4 liter gas tank, right? So compared with the Chevy Camaro or Ford Mustang, those are other types of muscle cars. This one is a type of muscle car. I see it right there. It's telling you that it has competitors. There are other vehicles that are in the same category. They are called muscle cars. So compared with those ones, the Challenger is what? It's larger. The website says the Challenger is larger and less athletic. In other words, those ones they have a better build. Maybe they look more fashionable, but that does not relegate the Dodge Challenger to the back door in terms of beauty. You can see how beautiful the vehicle is. However, it rides smoother. The Dodge Challenger 2022 Dodge Challenger rides smoother and offers more comfortable passenger accommodations, right? And why the 2022 Challenger is mad, is spoiled, or is destroyed by mediocre interior materials. That is how this website describes it. It says the materials are mediocre, that is average, and an unsatisfying manual transmission. I've not driven this for a long time, so most of these attributes they are giving the vehicle, I'm yet to experience them. I'm yet to confirm that they are true. So it says while it's still a cool coupe, like it has two doors one side. It's still a cool coupe that regularly reminds its driver of a bygone era. In other words, it's an old school. You can just see how, looking at that vehicle, it has four eyes. It almost has a mouth, and then it has, just look at that like somebody's facial appearance. What's new? Let's look at the new things that this vehicle has. New. What is new in this vehicle? For 2022, the Dodge Dodge does what Dodge does by not making any significant changes to the Challenger lineup. In other words, there were no changes on the Dodge for 2022. Why? Nobody knows why. The only difference between last year's models is that the R/T Scout Pack, that's another model, now includes a deluxe security alarm. There is an alarm built in this current one. This feature is also now included with a convenience group package. That is the newest thing that was added to this, brotherhood, or as the website describes it. Engine, transmission, and performance. Engine, transmission, and performance. The Challenger's base 305 horsepower V6 won't satisfy three trickers, the people that are looking for, something that will, excite them, something that will thrill them. This one says this engine will not satisfy them. The model's engine mates exclusively to the 8-speed automatic, but in the heavy Challenger, which is another type, it lacks the acceleration and excitement of drivers. The Dodge Hemi V8 engines are another story. The 375 horsepower 5.7 liter tested had plenty of juice to power slide on demand, and its guttural growl was gratifying. This is what this website. The website is called caranddriver.com. This is some of the things the website has stated about this vehicle called the 2022 Dodge Challenger, right? I am going to give us another tour of this vehicle, just to show you. And then when I come back, we're going to do another drive. We will look at another review from the website, the JD Power. Hang on. Yes, I have decided to turn that vehicle the other way because very soon we are going to go talking about the interior of the vehicle, right? We will be looking on the inside, we'll be looking at the dashboard, we'll be looking at the pedal, the throttle, the interiors, the seats, the leather seats. Yeah, but before we go ahead and do that, before we go ahead and look at the interior, let me conclude by reading out what JD Associates. JD, I'm going to read, it's going to be a long read. For those of us who would like to go online, go to www.j like John, D like Dr. Power, jdpower.com. Let me see what jdpower.com talks about the 2022 Dodge Challenger. It's an overview. It has an overview. When the Dodge Challenger first hit the streets, muscle cars took a turn. Like I told you, this type of vehicle is called a muscle car. You can see the muscles. If you look at just very close to the back tire, the rear tire, you see that the body curves out, curves out a little bit, forming something like the muzzle. If you look at the front, the front bumper, like the hoods, the front hoods. You can see there's a curve right from the windshield in the front, curves a little bit upward, and then downwards, forming something like a muzzle. Everywhere around it, you see, triceps and biceps in front, right? So that's why it's called a muscle car. Muscle cars took a turn. That means there were other muscle cars, but when this one hit the street, there was a revolution, because Challengers, this one, took corners the same way they took straights. In other words, those vehicles kind of conformed with their body build, but Challenger had deviations, right? So that was a surprise. So with no prisoners, in other words, the vehicle made it easier for people to drive. Because when somebody who is muscular has a confrontation, is fighting with someone who is slim or there's a form of locking of hands and a kind of imprisonment. This vehicle gives you leisure, it gives you freedom to drive without, interlocking you inside it. And then a new era of Detroit muscles began. In other words, Dodge, the company called Dodge, is based in Detroit, Michigan, for those of us who know or who do not know. Choose from 10 models, starting with the SST. SST is one model, so there are about 10 models in this. I'm moving through the amazing 807 horse SRT Super Stock. This is another model. In 1964, a dragster broke 200 miles an hour for the first time. 200 miles an hour. That is how a particular type of these muscle cars can drive. 200 miles an hour. It broke 200 miles an hour for the first time. It was powered by a 392 Hemi, HEMI. The 392 HEMI legend lives on in today's Challenger, and now it comes with the Tremec 6-speed power manual transmission. You don't have to worry about all those language or all those terminologies. There are Dodge's jargon. Dodge Favorite Torque Feline 8-speed automatic is now available too. These are also muscle cars with sport mode for even quicker shifts. But the 8-speed auto isn't just good for performance. Pair it with a D3.6 liter Pentastar V6 and you can go over 550 miles on a tank of gas. 550 miles on a tank of gas. It's just telling you that this car is built to, for gas efficiency. It saves you a lot of gas as you ride. Or put it on a 5.7 liter Hemi V8 and get up to 25 miles to the gallon. This vehicle can drive 25 miles on 1 gallon of gas, which is a good thing. So from Apple CarPlay and Android Auto 4 to available blind spot monitoring and rear cross path detection, today's Challenger is fully modded. Okay, it's already talking about the inside. It's telling us about the Challenger's interior. Now, what does it tell about the interior? It says that it has an Apple Apple CarPlay, which is like Apple CarPlay is an app. You download it, or it's already inbuilt. Once you connect with your phone, you will be able to play your music. It also has an Android Auto 4. Android Auto 4 should also be an inbuilt app which connects to your phone or your other device to enable you play your music, watch your videos, or do some other stuff, right? And then there's a blind spot monitoring. In other words, what accident that could happen with other vehicles just because somebody was at a spot that you couldn't detect before you make a left turn or right turn. This vehicle has inbuilt feature to detect blind spot, right? So making it, kind of placing it on a higher standard of safety, right? It also has a rear crossbar detection. In other words, when you are driving on a lane, like I told us in the last review, and you are running off the line, trying to run on the track or on a line, this vehicle will give you a signal. It's going to tell you, look, you are supposed to be in between two lanes, but you are running on out. And then I'm going to be rounding up this session. We're going to go into the interior like I told us. It says choose from a variety of color options and accessories and build a Challenger that is yours. The Dodge Challenger, unleash your inner beast. Well, you just calling the vehicle a beast. You are riding a beast, actually. So when you get in there, it says unleash your inner beast. I'm not going to be a beast riding on a beast, but I will control the beast, right? So that's JD Power Associates overview of the 2022 Dodge Grand Caravan. We are going to continue our reviews when we get on the inside. You can see the gas tank. I didn't have a lot of time to talk about some of the features that are not really, let's say, very, they are not just very important. The gas tank, the alloy wheels, the design, the architecture, and I'm not too bothered about that, but suffice it to do, this vehicle is a very good and excellent muscle car, and it's customized to help you get to your destination as soon as you can. The speed is amazing. The speed, when you're in this vehicle, you won't even know you are driving. And then you are overtaking every other vehicle, even at the speed limit. So as you, like I said, make your buying and selling decisions, you need to look at the 2022 Dodge Challenger. Thank you very much.